This is some of the old Jewish section. You can see another part of the old ghetto. Another one of the ghettos. As you can see, the suitcases are prominent. The infamous suitcases.
Yeah.
There's a sign for it. Museum Krakow. Schindler. Like I say, we will be coming back. We have no choice. All the different coloured camouflages. No, I won't be surprised if some of this means something, but we're at Schindler's factory. I was going to go in today, but unfortunately there is a 2-hour queue and it has been raining, so I really can't be sitting in there for that long. But there's some little bits outside, so I thought I'd do that. I have to come back because I was going to be going somewhere else today, but I need to find out that's all changed since I got here. It says that there. This here is a fragment of the wall of the now defunct Lenin shipyard in Gdansk, which let Florence's scale to join a historic strike that ended on the 31st of August 1980 with an agreement between the strikers and the communist authorities of Poland. That day is considered symbolic beginning of the Solidaric movement, which contributed to the collapse of communism in Poland and Europe. The wall was built with bricks recovered from the demolished shipyard. Wow. The great Lech Walesa. I'll put a picture up for him so everybody knows what he looks like. But
the government negotiators gave way to the workers' key demands.
Mamy wreszcie niezależne, samorządne związki zawodowe. Mamy prawo do strajku.
I remember him growing up as it was all going on. And then you got some concrete bicycles. Not sure what that's about. With more of the wall here.
Und dann ist es auch möglich, dass die Reservation haben, da könnte ich ja großartig führen. Also hoffentlich das nächste Mal ich hatte immer nicht damit, aber die anderen Wochen, also unterstreichen sozusagen, so genannt, aber das ist ja ganz einfach eine sehr schöne
Top of the gate.
Die Standardprüfung, die Fabrik dauert 90 Minuten. 90 Minuten die ganze Zeit.
Welcome to Poland, where the weather is good. If you're a duck. Just a little shower, they said, just a little shower. The Jewish Heroes Square in Krakow, Poland, has been many things throughout the course of its turbulent existence. It began as a marketplace known then under the name of Zagodny Square. It was a quiet little market, insequential in the larger scale of Krakow. Goods could be bought and sold there, people would pass through and leaving, returning as they pleased. This would all change, however, in 1939. Poland fell under German rule. This was the beginning of a painful chapter in world history, but also in the history of Zagodny Square, as it would soon be marked by a large gate with the Star of David. Anti-Semitism in the Third Reich would lead to the formation of ghettos in Poland. In these locations, Jewish populations were to be segregated and kept apart from the wilder populace. Leaving was not permitted, thus the ghettos were prisons of a different kind. Zagodny Square found itself at the centre of one such ghetto. During this troubled period, the square would be many other things aside from a market. It would become a place for the new residents' furniture to be piled up and discarded. It would become a site of humiliation and suffering, and yet it would also become an escape from crowded tenements and cramped living conditions. In Zagodny Square, the ghetto's residents could meet and trade goods, information could be passed, and some semblance of community could be formed. However, all of this would soon be overshadowed when the square was to become an integral part in the implementation of the final solution in Krakow. It was in Zagodny Square that selection would be made, decision that for the residents of the ghetto meant life or death. Those selected to leave the ghetto were boarded onto trains and sent to either Plasnow, Baltic or Auschwitz. Some would not even make it to the train. The elderly, sick and young were often executed in the streets, in their homes, or even on the square itself. An order to empty the ghetto completely would soon be given. This troubling chapter in the square's history is captured in Steven Spielberg's Schindler's List. Most of the residents would meet their end in the gas chambers of Auschwitz-Birkenau, or work to death in the camps of Plasnow or Baltic. The square, nevertheless, would be rendered painfully empty following this order. Nowadays, Zagodny Square carries a new, less painful name, and at its centre is an artistic installation designed to memorialise the victims of the ghetto. The installation has proved controversial due to its incomprehensive nature. No fewer than 60 chairs are scattered in the square. Each chair represents 1,000 lives. It's hard for art, literature or history books to convey the scale of the Holocaust and the human suffering that came hand in hand with it. This installation does. On first glance it seems indeed to fail in this regard. Many people walk past it. Children play and sit on the chairs, and only an odd walking tour of Krakow pauses briefly to acknowledge it. Now these are the heart-wrenching ones. These represent the children. Remember, each chair is 1,000 people. Upon thought and discretion, however, the empty chairs are powerful. The chairs look back into the square's history and the empty furniture that was discarded there. The chairs convey man's inhumanity towards man. They capture a moment in history where human life was discarded with much care, and thoughts of the furniture piled in the square was once. Whether you pause to look at them or think them just as odd features in a quiet square, you are forced to navigate around them. They demand attention, and in their sheer audacity. Prevailing in the installation is a feeling of absence. The chairs are empty, and apart from curious children always will be, they are stark and bold, profound in their lack of adornment. Many trip advisors review complaints about this, and how the installation is sparse and empty, and how there is nothing to see. Remember, this pump would have been here in the ghetto times. This would have been their supply. Just imagine all in here. This is where they lived. This is where they were executed. This is where they were torn from families and sent either to work to their death or to the gas chambers, which we don't need to describe. The reviewers seem to miss the point. Absent was all that was left following the war, the Jewish population of Krakow once numbered 60,000. Following the German regime, 5,000 remained. Empty chairs come then to define an empty city.